Hello, Asim. How are we doing?
I'm good, mate. I'm watching a very looks like a very nostalgic Transformers screen right now.
Absolutely. This is our review of Transformers Devastation. So I'm going to press any button as it asks me to do so. And jump into a little bit of the story mode. This is a game from Platinum Games, famed for Bayonetta and Metal Gear Rising. It's kind of their sort of game, really.
Okay.
Not to give anything away in terms of story, but there's 7 chapters. It's quite a short game. I managed to get through it in about 5 hours, doing a few, doing quite a few side missions as well. So we'll jump into. Let's have a look.
No spoilers, Ben. No
Yeah,
spoilers.
let's just jump into chapter 1.
Okay.
So.
Because I will get to this game eventually at some point.
Yeah, it's been released at a supposedly budget price of £40 on the PlayStation Store. It's not really a budget title. I think you can pick it up a little bit cheaper than that. And immediately you can see like the art style.
That looks really nice.
Just kind of mimics the 80s.
Oh man, that looks good.
Yeah, yeah. There's a couple of cutscenes. Oh, there we go. Big explosion. There's a couple of cutscenes towards the end where things look a little bit ropey, but you kind of think, okay, yeah, well, it's it's kind of towards the 80s, and it's mimicking the TV show, so it's all.
Yeah, it looks like I was about to say, pretty much looks like the TV show.
Yeah.
Which is bloody damn good.
Yes.
How does it run? While we're talking about the visuals, is it a smooth 1080p 60 frames or?
It is buttery smooth.
Okay,
I think
good.
I've probably noticed one, possibly 4 or 5 second drop, and that was towards the very end of the game where there's an absolute ton of enemies on screen.
Right. Okay.
And you also end up, again, no spoilers, but towards the end of the game you end up sort of teaming up as a team of 5, and you've got all 5 of the Autobots that you can play as in there together.
Nice. I'm listening to the audio here, and it seems like they've got all the voice casts. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean they've. I think I said this on the podcast the other day. They've got a really, really good Starscream impersonator.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I remember you did. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think a lot of stuff in previous games where you've had Starscream, he's really hissy and he's a little bit.
Yeah.
It's not that great, but.
Go on, do the impression, Ben. Go on, do the impression.
Nah, I'm all right. But this Starscream is really good. And Megatron's, Megatron's the original actor. Here you go. Here's your 5 Autobots. You've got Optimus, you've got Bumblebee, you've got Wheeljack, and who's the last one?
Don't let us down.
I can't remember, but yeah, you've also got Grimlock, and Grimlock is as dumb as ever.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah,
that's cool. It's got that TV. It's got that old school TV show vibe, children's TV show vibe, which is awesome.
Yeah, really it's really cool. Like the aesthetic of the game just looks really nice.
Okay. Well, before we go into the gameplay stuff, is there an actual? Well, being 5 hours long, is there an actual story to it, or is it just like cutscene?
No. There's a story to it.
Okay.
Basically, you play as whichever transformer you want. You can choose from the 5, as I say.
Right.
And you've kind of. Yeah, basically Megatron's in the city and he's trying to transform the Earth into Cybertron.
Right, okay. So as he always does.
Yeah, absolutely. So you've got to stop him.
Okay. That's the setup. Okay. Then okay, so let's talk about the gameplay then. Is it essentially what I've been hearing? It's basically Transformers Bayonetta.
Yes. Yeah. Totally. It is a Platinum game.
Okay.
Just look at that. It's
gorgeous,
and as I say, it's a solid 60 frames. And in case you don't want to run everywhere, oh hello.
Can you transform at any given moment?
Yep. You hold R1 and it transforms.
Okay.
So this will give you an idea of the combat.
All right.
As I say, it's standard Platinum stuff.
Are these like the normal enemies you'll face, or is it like
yeah, there's kind of obviously it's quite difficult in a Transformers game to create like that. I was going to say I'll just show you one of the moves. yeah, it's quite difficult to have that. There we go. Vehicle attack.
Nice.
It's difficult to get the sort of cannon fodder enemies, if you like, because obviously in the Transformers universe, everybody's named.
Yeah, I was gonna say like so. I guess, and it must get with pretty much any game. Do the enemies get like progressively harder? Are there boss battles? Is there all that in there?
Indeed, there are boss battles. You get a lot of the enemies here, where you've got, as I say, like the fodder enemies.
Okay.
And then you've also got the bigger bosses at the end. So you've got, I mean, not to give too much away, but literally within 20 minutes of this game, you're fighting Megatron.
Oh, nice. Okay, so there's no like faffing around. Basically, just get into it. Which is good.
Totally. It's. I mean, this is. If you wanted,
Sorry.
yeah, totally. If you wanted a decent Transformers game, I mean, I reviewed the last Transformers game that came out, and it, Rise of the Dark Spark, and honest to God, I think
it was Rise of the Dark shit, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was absolutely terrible. Like, just there was nothing redeeming about it other than the fact that they got Peter Cullen in. And you get a ranking at the end of each little encounter. So
okay, so typical Platinum,
very much sort of bread and butter Platinum games.
Do the combos and stuff get like extremely complicated, or is it or do they remain pretty simple?
It's kind of standard. You get square for a light attack, triangle for a heavy attack, and then when you go through the combo enough, I'm sure as you've seen, like you'll flash orange, and then it will say vehicle attack, and you launch yourself at the enemies in your vehicle mode.
Okay, so there are like combos that you can form into the vehicle and basically switch back again.
Okay.
Yeah,
I mean, there's a few collectibles around the world as well.
Okay.
But I mean, all in, like, the art style in this game is just something.
Yeah, visually, I'm looking at it here, and I can't really fault it in any aspect. To be honest, it looks pretty much what you'd want from a Transformers geek, I guess.
Yeah.
Point of view. So.
Yeah, I mean, they've gone with Generation 1. They've gone with a lot of other cool little aesthetic details, and it just looks really nice. And as I've said before, that if you're a fan of the Platinum games, you will more than likely enjoy this. As I say, you've got Grimlock essentially being as dumb as ever.
Yeah, I was going to
quality. So if you see there where the screen goes blue, a little tutorial bit here. The screen has that little frame around the outside.
Yeah.
That is essentially the witch time mode for Bayonetta.
Yeah,
so it just slows everything down. And it allows you to get a few hits in beforehand. So it's really handy during boss battles. You can also upgrade that so that it'll happen just as you get hit as well.
Okay. I mean, in most of these type of games, I mean, to be fair, Platinum usually do pretty well. The cameras are a bit of an issue sometimes.
There
seems to be playing okay over here.
I mean, over here it's fine. There were a couple of moments where the sorry, my PS4 just cut off from my TV there, which was a bit strange. So there was there was a couple of moments where the camera goes off on its own, does its own thing towards the end of the game, but on the whole, it stays fairly steady. Yeah, the rankings are quite difficult to.
I presume it's basically you can't use the same combo over and over again. You have to just basically.
Kind of, yeah. It's the other thing as well is they focus a lot on what's the word I'm looking for? They focus a lot on health as well. If you don't lose much health. So here's Devastator.
Yeah.
As you'd expect from a game called Transformers Devastation.
Devastation, yeah. Okay.
And
you pretty much fight him straight away.
Yeah. You fight him multiple times through the game.
Oh, that looks awesome. That looks awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, yeah, you see there, like, you can sort of dodge at just the right point, and you'll be available to to do your witch time moves. Or I don't think they've actually given it a name in this. They've just sort of said this is what happens.
Okay.
Um,
And how's the difficulty level? Like platinum games are usually known for some tough stuff later on in the games.
I'm not
How's
gonna.
this?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Like I found it quite difficult.
Okay.
The first time I did this fight, it actually took me quite a few goes.
Right. Okay.
Because I just wasn't used to sort of some of the combat and everything. But
Yeah.
now I've gotten used to it, I can plow through it fairly straightforwardly. The one criticism I would have about the art style is that, about the game in general in terms of graphics, is like when you come to these sections, these are all pre-rendered. Like all the cutscenes are pre-rendered, so you don't get the same level of fidelity as you do during gameplay.
Yeah.
It almost seems like they're at a different resolution, which is it's quite strange.
Okay.
But you know, I mean, when the game looks just this nice, it's
it looks
it's
great.
kind of difficult to criticize it too much.
Yeah.
So
okay. I mean, you mentioned a few negatives there. Any other thing that apart from I guess the length and everything like that, what's kind of lets it down, or does anything let it down?
Really, I think the only major complaint I'd have would be the length.
Yeah.
I mean, it's padded out. If we just go back to the main menu a second, the length is padded out with a couple of sort of challenge modes and things like that.
Okay.
So if we just go into the challenge mode to sort of show what's in there.
Pardon the pun, but is it an easy platinum?
I don't think it would be. If I just go back to the main menu and the platinum, there are quite a lot of platinums. Like you've got to, if you want to complete like if you want to get the chapters, you've got to basically complete all of the chapters using each individual transformer and stuff like that.
Right.
So
Okay.
there's a lot to do.
Okay.
But yeah, like you've got all these challenge missions here. So you've got like defeat the Decepticons, the Constructicons, the Insecticons, and then you go all the way through.
Are these based on the story or are they separate?
Some of them are based on the story. Some of them are like individual little challenges that they've got. They've got ones here which are essentially like a wave mode. So you've got like defeat as many as possible. And then you also have this one here, which I went to do. So Sideswipe's the other one, yeah. So you know, there's a little bit of DLC which is free as well. So I downloaded the alternate costumes for people.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, like overall, I went through the whole game first time around with Optimus Prime.
Okay. Is there any incentive to go through with again? Do you think after you finished it?
As I say, only really trophies. If you want to go through them all, I'm probably going to go through it again because I tend to do that with platinum games where I'll go through it a couple of different times and you know look at leveling up and doing different things and seeing how I can you know be a bit better. So yeah, I'm not 100% sure on how to actually score points in this mode. I managed to do it with Optimus Prime, but I don't really know how. I think it was a bit of a fluke.
Right. Okay.
But you can sort of build up enough speed and then kick them, which I don't know if that was actually what I was supposed to do.
Well, you got 0 points so far. So that's
yeah, it's always a good start.
So you're doing well. I mean, maybe you got to hit them into the things. You got to hit them into.
Yeah, I tried doing that, but I couldn't.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it said that the game mode is to punt them. So I don't know. I would have assumed that would have meant kick, but see, there you go. Yeah, I suppose that's kind of worked. But yeah, like on the whole, there's a lot to like about this game, particularly if you've got a fondness for the original series.
Most people our age will probably
yeah, totally. And I mean, if you've got an affinity for the Michael Bay films, then maybe this isn't for you. I've said my piece about the Bay films before. Like I kind of enjoyed the first one because I thought only he could have done that film, but they've just turned into a bunch of crap. So there you go. I got a D rank on that one because again, still not 100% sure on how to do all that. But yeah, that's really all there is. Actually, no, saying that, there is one thing that I quite enjoyed about the story mode. If we skip all those, you see, obviously, you get some weapons.
Oh, you can level up as well.
Yeah, so you level your weapons up. And you've got obviously your two types of weapons. You've got your ranged and your melee. So if we just go back and return to the main menu, I think if I go, I need to go into the into here. Basically, when you go back to the arc, which is your like your base, you've got the ability to craft and do a bunch more stuff with a lot of the weapons that you have.
Okay.
So you can feed some weapons into other weapons. So if you've got, say, a weapon that you're not going to use that says, I can't go that way. If you've got a weapon that says that you've got, I don't know, the +1 ability to pick up some rare stuff, you can then combine that weapon with like a weapon that you actually want to use, and then the weapon that you actually want to use will have that ability.
Right. Okay.
So it's just it's an incentive to keep a lot of the weapons that you find, but then add them into other weapons, so they'll get the best attributes of all the weapons all the way through the game.
Oh, right. Okay.
It's quite difficult to explain it without showing you, which is why I'm trying to get to a.
I'm trying
to get to a point where I can go back to the arc, but I don't really know.
That's cool.
And
it seems like there's some platforming. How's the platforming? I mean, I can imagine the Transformers are pretty weighty, so does that make it difficult, or was it pretty?
No, I mean it really does handle like any other Platinum game.
Okay.
Everything's nice and quick. Everything's got a definite purpose to it, but there is an awful lot of pace to everything that happens.
Okay.
There are actually some side missions throughout the game as well, which pop up, but I've not really seen. I've not really done any of those. I've only done the actual.
Are they pretty basic, or is it just?
As I say, I've sort of. I dabbled in one, and it's I'd sort of started one, but it seemed fairly basic.
Okay.
But yeah, this kind of sets up the story. This scene here, where he's saying that he wants to make some improvements.
Right.
Basically, Megatron wants to. Oh yes, so here we go. So we are indeed fighting Megatron.
Nice.
And this breaks the shields out. So
it does teach you everything quite at a fairly decent pace.
They introduce new mechanics quite quickly, but it doesn't feel like it's overwhelming.
Okay.
Like you can. I mean, it's typical Platinum combat, as I say, and I mean, it's the Generation 1 Transformers.
Yeah. It looks great from what I'm seeing. I mean, do you think, because you got, I don't know if anyone has mentioned this, like, you got two characters on screen here. Do you think it would benefit from co-op, like online co-op?
There were some parts towards the end of the game where I thought, you know what, this could really do with. Hey, I got S rank.
Well,
I thought, this could really do with some online co-op stuff.
Yeah, I was just thinking that, looking at the two characters, it'll probably be batshit insane in terms of like keeping up what's happening.
Yeah, it'd be impossible to play.
Yeah.
But it would it'd definitely be a fun addition.
Yeah.
I mean it looks like an episode.
Really does.
In gameplay and also in all the cutscenes. I think, as much as I said about the cutscenes having that slightly different resolution, I think it was.
I see what you mean, but it's still pretty good though.
There's not. Okay. I mean, there's not a huge amount to fault with it, other than the fact that it's quite a short game.
Do you think? Okay, so two questions. Do you think, if you're a Transformers fan of the old stuff, do you think it's worth it for 40 quid, 5 hours?
I mean, money's different to different people, and I personally, I probably would have paid that much.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah.
Say then the second question is, if you're not a Transformers fan, but you do enjoy this type of gameplay, would you spend £40 on it?
It depends if you're after a new game of that type. It's quite.
I guess so. If you were, go on.
Yeah, I mean, if you were, I'd probably say it would be. Okay. Don't want to do too much there because I think there might be some spoilers.
Because here you are.
But yeah, if this is the crafting menu. So if you look at the skills section on that on the two swords there, on the right hand side you've got item pull, which that kind of pulls anything that's anything near you, it'll pull it into you, so you don't have to run directly through the item to pick it up.
I like that.
And then, so let's say I want it to level up the cryo sword. So you press X, choose that as your base weapon, and you press X to merge them together, and it'll synthesize.
So you can merge two weapons together.
Yep. So then you've got that there, the cryo sword that you've just made, and it's not actually carried the skills across. I think you might have to have a blank skill section for that then. So okay, so let's do this with the twin thermal swords and the wrenches. So, so the wrench is there. So if you hit X and create those, what this will do is it will create the twin swords, and there you go. Yeah, you've got the skill that the wrenches has been sort of infused into the weapon there.
Okay. Cool.
And there's another thing there, which is the tech, which you can equip. These are just like little buffs to your character.
Right. Okay.
So like Optimus Prime, for example, has got 3 slots because I've leveled him up. And you can create those quite easily by choosing whether you want one that costs 1,000 or 5,000, and then you get essentially a little mini game here.
Oh, okay.
So that's created a really good one. And then even if you mess that up, it will still create one. It just won't be quite as powerful.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool.
So overall, that's Transformers Devastation.
Right. Okay.
It's a lot of fun. I'd probably advise waiting for the price to drop. I can't see it taking too long for that to happen.
I can see it being part of the Christmas sales.
Yeah, and if that does happen and it is in the Christmas sales, I think it's definitely worth picking up. Because I think that the fact is, in the review of the Darkspark, I said they need to give this series, they need to give this license to someone who gets it and to someone who gives a shit. And Platinum clearly get it. They clearly they clearly care about the franchise.
Yeah.
There's loads of collectible stuff as well. Like when you get through, I think there was one thing in the that's actually one cool thing. Like Optimus Prime does a little pose every time you set out with him. In the main menu as well, there's like some of the collectible things you can get. The original toy packaging.
Cool.
Haven't actually got any of those yet, so I'm a little bit gutted. But all in, that's Transformers Devastation. So
okay.
Where are we looking?
Can you say what score you give it?
I think by the time this goes live, my review will be up as well. So it's an 8 for me.
Okay, that's a good score. It's a really good score.
It's not going to change the world, and it could do with being a bit longer, but it really tugs at those. It just tugs at those heartstrings a little bit.
Nostalgic heartstrings. Yeah.
So where are we there? There you go. So you view concept art and classic toy package art. I want to find out what it is I've got to do, and then just get to that. So, and also, I don't want to play this because
obviously not. Yeah.
But the ending movie, if you can find it on YouTube, the song in the background is just absolutely incredible.
Brilliant.
Okay. And again, it just goes to show that Platinum get the series. Sorry. So
that's good.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
That's Transformers Devastation. 8 out of 10. Solid game. Well worth picking up if you like Transformers or Platinum games.
Sounds good.
Cool. And that's it for us for this one. Stay tuned and like, subscribe, comment, all that jazz, and Facebook, Twitter, everything else that we do.
Yeah.
And just keep watching. All right. Cool. Cheers, guys.
Bye.